Welcome back to my channel. I'm Joe, Smokin Joe's Pellet Barbecue. Today's video, I'm going to show you how to get the absolute best smoked bologna. So stay tuned. All right, so what we're starting with is a 5-pound log of beef bologna, and this is the Wunderbar brand. It is a German brand bologna. Just take it out of this package here. You can toss that in the trash. So I smoked a log of bologna like this about a year ago, and one of the things that I found was that me and my family, we loved the edges, the smoked edges. And on my first cook, I smoked this log at 225 degrees, and I don't think that temperature was high enough. So I'm going to be cooking this in my Yoder YS640 pellet smoker at 250 degrees versus the first time I smoked it at 225 degrees. And I am going to smoke it for about an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, because again, we really like the edges and how smoked they were. So to slice this open, or to get some cross hatches, on my first video, I only went about an inch deep. This time, I'm going to go about an inch and a half deep, but I'm going to cross hatch it, or create these cross hatches, if you will. So there's about an inch and a half. Okay. Doing this allows more smoke penetration into the log here. Hopefully you guys can see these cuts here. Again, about an inch and a half deep, just like that. About every inch and a half space in between, just like that. Go all the way around. There we go. Doesn't have to be perfect, but close enough. There we go. So once you hit your cuts, once you get to the cuts that you've already made, we're going to start cutting this in the other direction. And I'm getting close. One more. Right here. All right. So now I'm going to cut this in the other direction. Let me see here. Yeah, just like this. So we're going to go the opposite way now. That's going to get you these nice little cross hatch marks. Hopefully you guys can make that out. If not, you guys will make it out once it's in the smoker, and then once it starts to open up, these cross hatches will be a little bit more pronounced. There you go. All right, guys, I'm going to finish cutting this up, and I'll bring you guys back, so stay tuned. All right, so I went ahead and created the cross hatches throughout the entire log of bologna. And I don't know if you guys can make that on the camera, but there's a diamond in between, right in the middle of the bologna, the whole log. So there's a nice little diamond plate here. Now the rubs that I'm going to use is garlic jalapeno seasonal, just a little bit. No binders whatsoever. I did use some olive oil on my first video. In fact, I'm going to leave a link up top so you guys can see that, how I smoked my first log of bologna. And it was good, don't get me wrong, but we really like the edges because of that smoke flavor that the Yoder pellet grill gave the log of bologna. So just a little bit like that. Okay. And the second rub is the nutty pecan. Get a nice coat. Just like that. So I'm going to go fire up my pellet smoker, set it at 250 degrees, and I'll bring you guys back, so stay tuned. All right, so I've got my bologna on the top shelf. Again, my smoker is set at 250 degrees. I checked the clearance, and I do have enough room so the lid's not going to touch the bologna. I don't have any issues there, so I'm just going to close the lid and let this go for about an hour and a half before I even check it. Again, I'm going to try to go for 2 hours. That way I get the bologna to split open, get that smoky flavor, and create a little bit of char on the outside edges. So we'll bring you guys back in about an hour and a half, so stay tuned. All right, so it's been an hour and a half now, and holy cow, look at that thing. Let me make sure you guys can see that. Oh yeah, so the bologna is split open completely. These are the nice diamond-shaped colors that I was talking about earlier. The knife cuts that I made, you can see the cuts that I made. That's allowing more smoke to penetrate inside that bologna, giving it a good smoky flavor. 250 degrees, I gotta tell you, that is the best spot, the ideal spot for good smoke on this pellet smoker. You can see the smoke coming out in front of the camera. I'm gonna go ahead and close the lid so I don't lose a whole lot of heat. Again, I'm still at 250 degrees. Man, the scent that I'm getting from those pellets, I am using B&B mesquite pellets. And one thing I failed to mention earlier is I always vacuum out my pit before I use it. So before every cook, it doesn't matter what pellet smoker you have, make sure you're cleaning it out. I've seen a lot of pictures where these things are burning down or they get a fire inside. Make sure you vacuum it out. Make sure you vacuum out that fire pot as well. Lift out the grate, vacuum under that. That way you don't have any issues. You get nice clean smoke. Again, 250 degrees I have found to give me the best flavor on food. So if you're feeling that your pellet smoker or your Yoder is not giving you a good smoke flavor, try 250 degrees. That's going to give you a really nice smoke flavor, and it produces a nice smoke ring. Obviously, we're not going to get a smoke ring on this bologna, but I am going to get a nice smoke flavor out of it. So I'm going to leave it another 30 minutes. We'll come back and check on it at that point, so stay tuned. All right, so it's been 2 hours now, 30 minutes from my last clip here. And that is exactly what I was looking for. Those extra 30 minutes did it. So got a little bit more firm here. And that bologna is looking really good. Again, I went in about 1.5 inches, so it's split open pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and take this off, let it rest for about 15 minutes, then we're gonna slice it up, so stay tuned. All right, so we're back, and the bologna has been resting for about 15 minutes now. And you want to let it cool off because when it's hot, the bologna is really flexible, real, not mushy, but real flexible, and it's kind of firmed up a little bit here. So beautiful, beautiful looking chub of bologna. And I'm going to make myself a sandwich here. I'm going to slice this right in the middle. Use a good sharp knife. And I'm going to cut myself a nice slice. Oh yeah, that's gonna be winner right there. So that's the lucky slice that's gonna be in my sandwich right there. And I'm just gonna make myself a real simple sandwich. Got some Texas toast, some mayonnaise. Put a little bit of mayonnaise on both pieces of bread here. Oh yeah, just like that. I know a lot of people like mustard on their bologna sandwiches. I don't. So next thing, some lettuce. And I love lettuce, so I'm going to use a couple leaves here. Some tomatoes. Just a couple of tomatoes. Some onion. I love onions. I know a lot of people don't like onions, but I happen to love onions. Then I'm going to grab my wedge of bologna. Oh man, look at that. So all that smoke flavor has penetrated, and it looks and smells amazing. All right, I'm going to back the camera up and give this a taste. Stay tuned. All right, so my sandwich is ready, and the only thing left to do is to give this a taste. Check this Texas-sized bologna sandwich out, smoked bologna sandwich. See if I can bite this here. Here we go. Wow. So I gotta tell you, from the first time that I smoked bologna, this is definitely 2 steps ahead of that one. Number one, I smoked at 25 degrees higher than my initial cook, or my first cook. Number two, I penetrated the bologna about 1.5 inches versus the first time it was about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. That in itself made a difference. Look at this. It split open. The smoke was able to penetrate the surface of bologna, and also about, you guys ever seen smoke ring on bologna before? Check that thing. I don't know if you guys can see that, but look at that. So it penetrated into the bologna by simply making these cross hatches on the surface. So home run for me compared to my first smoked bologna, and I highly recommend that you guys give this a shot. Thanks for watching. Till next time, Joe, Smokin Joe's Pit Barbecue. See ya.